Hello everyone, my name is Julian Andres Uni. Hello everyone, my name is Julian Andres Uni, and today we're going to do the in topics explanation of the course Intermediate English 1. So what we are going to do is to have a short introduction of the course. We are also going to set the as a short rules and procedures that we are going to follow in our course. Plus, we are going to have the Model 1 content, the grammar reviews for Model 1, and finally, we're going to talk about the tasks that we are going to follow. Okay, so remember that in the previous synchronous session that it was the introduction of the course, we had the rules, so we have to be careful about the dates, we have to be careful about the procedures that we're going to follow. And also you have to bear in mind that we are going to have 6 activities in total in our course. These activities are learning activities and assessment activities. The learning activities are those that we are focusing on developing content. So in this case, you are able to present them during a long period of time. For example, the full week corresponding week. And so you can enter and go out from the exam template as many times as you may need. The only thing is that you need to avoid click on entregar examen. Yeah, if you click on that, your first attempt is gonna be like consumed. So what you are going to do is that you are going to present the first and second, for example, point from that workshop. And if you need, you can close the tab and continue in another opportunity. The difference is with assessment activities that those are exams like their self. You are going to have only 75 minutes to complete all the components of the exam, including the speaking part in which you have to record your presentation according to the question in video showing your face, and the rest of the components, for example, the grammar one, the reading, or the listening, according to what is set. Um, Guys, apart from that, we are going to start the Model 1 topics explanation. We have in here the modal verbs. So with the modal verbs, we have different modal verbs, but we are going to start with the first. This is called things that you must remember. So in here we have must and have to. And we are going to focus them like in terms of traveling. For example, vocabulary related to passport, luggage, and things like that. So we have in here, we must carry our passports. We must. So we have the subject. Let me show you in here. We have the subject, the modal verb must, and the next verb of the main verb of the sentence. You are going to use it in the the mo- the, the base form. Yes. So we have the modal, then next is the base form of the verb plus the complement. We must carry our passports. To do the negative form, we are going to use the negative form directly in the modal verb. That is kind of an auxiliary verb for this structure. He must not or he mustn't. Both of them are valid. He mustn't take pictures of statues in the museums. Yeah. And we have in here don't have to or doesn't have to. In here we are going to change the conjugation of the verb have. If we have a third person, we are going to use has to or doesn't have to. But if we have first, second, or plural, we are going to use don't have to or have to. We don't have to pack warm clothing. Okay, when traveling abroad, for example, we have these sentences. You must have a visa and passport. You mustn't give your documents to strangers. You have to search online. So both are like used in the same way according to this topic. Okay, for the next topic in here we have feeling and advices. So we can use the modal verb should, like to give an advice to someone, yeah? The subject is almost the same. The subject, the modal verb, the verb in the base form, and the complement. So she should carry a bottle of water. This is an advice. Yes, he should not or he shouldn't take a lot of clothes. Yes, and look at it. With should, we don't have conjugation for the third person. We should use camera. They should not or shouldn't stay outside for a long time when it's winter. So we have this structure like in kind of um, advices. Yeah. Now apply to our topic that is going on vacation. You should buy a carry-on bag. You must wear warm clothes. Yes, this is like advices that you have for this topic. Okay, now let's continue with the next topic that is called the simple past. So remember, simple past activities that we did. It could be 1 minute ago, an hour ago, or it could be, I don't know, probably 100 years ago, something that happened already that was started and finished in the past. Um, and of course, we cannot like repeat in the same time because the time has already gone. So that is why we use the simple past. So we have in here the structure, the affirmative structure. Affirmative sentences, we have subject plus the action verb conjugated in past and the complement. We have in here an example. He worked there for 10 years. He worked there for 10 years. He, that is the subject, worked. We have the verb in the conjugation in past, and the complement that in here is there for 10 years. It is very important for you to include a complement like an expression of time so you can like make emphasis on the things that you are referring. It is not the same. He worked there. Instead of that, you can say he worked there since 2020 or for 10 years. We have another example in here. They bought their new car 2 hours ago. In this example, we have an irregular verb. Yes, that is the verb buy, and this one work is a regular verb. So let's see a little bit about these regular and irregular verbs. We have regular verbs that are the ones that you use ed at the end, like this is marked ed, ed, to make the conjugation in past. Remember that in past we only have one conjugation for all the pronouns. For example, I played, you played, she played, it played, they played, we played. Yeah, and you played in plural. All of the pronouns use the same conjugation. All the pronouns, I, you, he, she, all. But this with the verbs different from the verb to be. The verb to be has its own conjugation, so you have to be careful when using the verb to be in past. That we have two conjugations for it, that is was and were. Those are the conjugations for the verb to be. But in this case, we're talking about the rest of the verbs, and this first part is regular ones. Now we have the irregular. The irregular change a lot. The irregulars change a lot. Become, became. This is an example. Understand, understood. So you don't see played or ed at the end of nothing. Another example, sit and sat. Have and had. Of course, the verb to be is an irregular one, the most irregular one. And we have also verbs that don't change. Those verbs don't change. We have the verb cut, cast, hit, and let. These are examples of irregular verbs because they don't change the conjugation in present to the past. Yeah. So this is another way of being irregular. Okay, so we have the affirmative one. Subject, action in past, and complement, and that's it. Let's see for the negative form. The negative form, we need to include the auxiliary for past that is didn't. When you find didn't or did not in a sentence, it automatically changes the conjugation of the verb. So for example, in here, you called me last night. You didn't call me last night. It means that you are conjugating the verb call. But look at it. We need to write it not with ed, like we have in here, ed or the irregular form, but we are leaving it in the base form. Entonces, acuérdense, pasado simple, negación, utilizamos el auxiliar didn't, y como ya didn't me hace una conjugación de pasado, ¿cierto? Ya no tengo que usar la conjugación en la forma base, porque no podemos conjugar doble vez el mismo verbo. You didn't call me last night. She didn't celebrate her last birthday. So we are going to use didn't for all the pronouns. I, you, he, she, it. Yeah. Remember, the verb to be is the only one that has its own conjugation in past. So this is for the rest, except the verb to be. Now we have the interrogative forms. Simple question and information question. With them, what we are going to do is to use the auxiliary did. It is also possible to make a question in negative form, yes. In this case would be didn't, but to this explanation we will use didn't, or did, sorry, did, like an affirmative question. So in here we have didn't between the pronoun, the subject, and the verb, yes. In here, we have to move the auxiliary to the beginning of the sentence, and the rest continues the same. You close your question with a question mark, and that's it. Did he travel last vacation? That is the question. Yeah. So, once again, we are using an auxiliary. We don't need to conjugate, like adding ed or something like that in this question. And about the information question. Remember that information is because when yes or no, you can answer yes, he did or no, he didn't, and that's it. But with the information question, it is not like when you do this question, you are not supposed to receive a yes or a no as a response. For example, if you are asked, where did they travel as vacation? You cannot say, yes, they did. You are not answering the question that is where, the place. See, el lugar, where. Um, we are going to keep the same structure like this one, but at the beginning we are going to write the question word. For example, we can have the same question in here. Did he travel as vacation? And you can add, why did he travel as vacation? And the question would be complete. Yeah, even more complete like this in this form, more complete than this one. Cool. That is for the simple past. About discourse markers. What are those discourse markers? Those are words that help you to write with the cohesion in your text. For example, if you have a sentence or a paragraph in which you want to add more information, you are going to write and to, also, moreover, furthermore, as well as. After this discord marker, you are always going to write a comma like this. Moreover, comma. So for example, we have a sentence in which you are saying, he was standing outside the window. Moreover, he was staring inside the house. Like giving more information in the same context. You are adding more information using these discourse markers. We also have discourse markers to sequence events. Yeah, like to give a sequence of events. The most common one is firstly. We have also secondly, after, before, next, or meanwhile. And once again, if you write one of these discourse markers in your text, you need to use a comma just after it. Like for example, firstly, you need to use a comma, period. Secondly, comma, you have to be careful about your cohesion. Yeah, like that. To show similarities, the same structure like in these two previous, but we have these ones. Likewise, also, similarly, equally, in the same way, similar to. So you're showing this is similar to this. Yeah, this idea is similar to this other. So you are using these discourse markers. Uh, to show contrast, we have the expressions however, whereas, on the other hand, conversely, alternatively, unlike. Yes, and you are using comma after them to emphasize, especially using E, that is for academic writing, clearly, essentially, particularly, above all, and definitely. To show cause and effect, you have because, hence, therefore, as a result, consequently, and thus. So you can say this happened because this other thing happened before or something like that. Okay, we are going to move to the next topic, that is the phrasal verbs. So we have these phrasal verbs marked in here in red. And what we are going to do now is like to link them with and feelings or emotions situation. For example, fed up. Fed up, it means to be frustrated with someone. Yeah, you can say, I'm so fed up with you, for example, or I'm so fed up with this coronavirus vaccination, for example. Yeah, like you feel like really frustrated. Sometimes it could be possible that you feel angry. So yeah, you're fed up. Have enough. It means to reach a limit. So you can say, I have enough with this situation. Yes, I have enough with my boyfriend. I have enough with like the situation that you are like you cannot manage it anymore because you are like um uh, angry about something. Okay, calm down. Calm down means to relax, to chill. Yeah. So if you have in a text, you have to relax. You can say, calm down. Yeah. That means be careful. Find your inner peace. Okay. To let someone down, it means that you are disappointing someone or that someone is disappointing you. Yeah. Like someone let you down, someone did that something wrong to you, and this person is disappointing you. But if you are the person who is disappointing the other one, so you say, I am letting someone down. Yeah, for example, you had to give important information to your boss and you didn't do, and because of that you lost business. So your boss is um, let down because of you. So you let down your boss. Yeah, your boss can say this person let me down, and you can say I let my boss down. Yeah. So that is how you must use this phrasal verb. And to deal with something, it means that you have a problem, but you know how to work with it. For example, I'm dealing with a situation. Yeah, I'm dealing with this situation, like this problem or something like that. I'm dealing with this strike problem. Okay, the next topic, we are going to move to the present perfect versus the past perfect. We have these two structures that are using the verb to have and the past participle of the main verb of the sentence. Yes, we have been, and in here is had been. About the grammar, in here you use the present form of the verb to have, and in here you're using the past form of the verb to have. So I have been to New York 3 times. I had been to New York before I got married. So in terms of uses, you are going to use present experiences with the present perfect because you are able to do them again. Yeah. But if you set a period of time in which you had been doing something, like for example, before I got married or before I was 30 or before something, yeah. That period of time means that it finished already and you need to let that in the past. So that is why we are using the past perfect. So we have in here past experiences like before another event. Yeah. The other event could be a year, for example. I had visited United States 5 times before coronavirus restrictions. Yeah. Yeah, so we had the coronavirus restrictions, and you finished your time, like the period, the long period in which you were able to do something. So let's check the grammar for the present perfect first. We have the pronoun in here, you, she, he, or the name of the person. In this case, for example, Carlos, you have Carlos have studied English for 5 years, like you have studied English for 5 years. Or she has not written several letters, like Carla, no sé, Maria, has not written several letters. And in here we have to move the auxiliary, that in this case is the verb to have, according to the pronoun. Remember that for he, she, and it, we are using has. And for the rest, that is I, you, they, we are going to use have. Has he lived in Medellin since 2010? Yes, he has. We have the answer in here. You can add the question form, the WH question at the beginning if you need it. Okay, so as I was telling you in the previous slide, you have for the present perfect to use the present form of the verb to have, according to the conjugation for the pronoun, plus the past participle, that is the third column of the list of verbs. Yeah, past participle of the verb. Sometimes it is regular, like this studied. That is the same way that you used for the simple past, but sometimes it changes. For example, this is right is an irregular verb So you have the verb written. She has not written several letters. Lived is a regular one. So that is why you have different. And you have to be careful and look for the correct conjugation for the past participle. Okay, we have just, already, and yet. Those are adverbs of time that help us to make emphasis in the structure that we're using in this moment, that is the present perfect. Yeah, they have just taken the flight. This just means in short minutes ago, short moments ago, like almost in this moment. Yeah, it gets you close to the event, but it was in the in the recent past. They have just taken the flight. Okay, she has already booked a room. It means that this event has already happened. Yeah, it is a fact now. It is not like our Colombian ya. No, that ya voy. That means I'm gonna take like more time to do it. In this case, already means it has happened already. Yeah. In this moment, it is a fact. It is part of the past. Yeah. She has already booked a room. Look at them. You have to use just and already just after the has or have auxiliary and before the main verb using the past participle. Yes. If we had a question, that would be this auxiliary moving to the beginning and the rest would continue the same. Has she already booked a room? It's a question. Okay. Mm, he has not packed the travel bag yet. So we have the negative form, yes. And for the questions, for the negative form and the questions, you can use yet, but you cannot use yet for the affirmative form. And it goes at the end, yes. Packed is not an adverb, it is yet. Sorry about this confusion in colors. Okay, so we have the past perfect. Past perfect means that something was done before something extra happened, like in the past. Look at this situation, and after that, I'm going to explain you the structure. I did not lock the door of my apartment. Yeah, that happened in the past. It was like before this moment, and I didn't do it. So the thief entered and stole my things. Yeah, that's another thing that happened in the past. So let's see the examples. The thief had stolen my things. Yeah, it means that something of this was has happened or had happened in the past. Yeah, we have the known, that in this case is the thief. Then we have had, that is the past form of the have. In this case is an auxiliary. And we have stolen, that is the past participle of steal. Yeah, plus the complement. I had not locked the door of my apartment. To do the negation, we are going to add it just to the auxiliary, that in this case is had. So we have had not. Why hadn't I checked the door's lock? Yeah. So we're moving the auxiliary had in this case hadn't to the beginning. We change the positions with the pronoun. Look at it. We have the pronoun in here at the beginning. Now it is second and hadn't at the beginning plus the WH word. And the rest will continue the same. Checked the door's lock. Okay, guys. Punctuation, it is very useful when you are writing texts. For example, this is a text without punctuation. Yes. Yesterday I went to the mall. I bought clothes and cell phone and food. You don't have another idea. It means like in Spanish, vamos a comer niños. What? So it is not like a coherent sentence. We are going to see then how it looks. Okay, so we have different punctuation forms. For example, we have capitalizing, that is bigger letters at the beginning, and we have period, that is this little dot that we have in here. But when in text, when we're talking about texts, we are calling it period. So it is placed at the end of the statement, like this, period. They have already booked a ticket, period. Yeah, because you finished your statement or your idea. We use the comma to show a separation of ideas within a statement. So in English, it's very common to use periods instead of comma, but in this case, as long as it is short and it is related to the same structure of this statement, you are using comma to like separate your ideas. In this case, I usually go swimming or to swimming pools on Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Yeah, and you finish with a period. Yeah, we're not adding more like ideas to this statement, so you are going to use period. We have also semicolon is used to connect independent sentences in order to show connection between them. So you have two independent sentences, statements, yeah, but they are in a certain way connected, like could be in contrast, it could adding information, explaining reasons, something like that. So you're using a semicolon. Maria has gone to the park. Semicolon. All their friends usually go to outside places to have fun. So we are going to have the same structure, the same text that I showed you at the beginning. And in this case, what we are going to do is to see the difference between using and not using the punctuation. We have in here, yesterday I went to the mall. I bought clothes, a cell phone, and food. That's it like we have in English. Remember that when you start a sentence after a period, you are using mandatory the capital letter. You're capitalizing the first letter of the word. I, the pronoun, you need to write it always in capital letter. You use period in here, comma, separating ideas, and a final period, like a full stop in here. In Spanish, vamos a comer, niños. Vamos a comer, niños. That would be like an invitation. No expressing that you are eating kids, but that in this case is an invitation to the children to eat. We have more examples in here. Also, we have all of the red ones are clear examples of punctuation. We have these quotations that we use them like to mark something that was said by someone else. We have hyphen in here and the exclamation mark, and we have also the question mark. Yeah, that we cannot see it. We have also underscore one. We have more, but it's just to let you know some of them. Okay, let me check. How are we up to this? Uh, we are okay. We just reached the middle of this presentation. We have modals in past. That these modals help us to um, express regrets. For example, something that you think it could happen, but it didn't happen. Yeah. And we have three of them. Let's see them one by one. Should have. Um, she Should have means that something did not happen. Yes. So in the past didn't happen. But we wish it had happened. We use should have to talk about past mistakes or regrets. En español es debió haber hecho, debió haber estudiado, debió haber ido, ¿ya? But didn't happen, so it is kind of regretting, como que lamentándose, ¿sí? She should have studied more to approve the English course, yeah? She didn't do it, she failed, so she should have, but that didn't happen, so yeah. They should have gone to the Amazon region when they could afford it. Now they're not able to afford it, so they cannot go. We also have could have. Could have is a structure that means that something did not happen. We wish it had happened, but we use it to talk about possible actions that did not happen. Yeah, possible actions that did not happen. Pudo haber hecho, pudo haber, like actions that could have done instead of the thing that happened. She could have taken English classes when she was younger. Yes, could have taken English classes when she was younger. Yeah, that is something that was able at a moment in the past, but now it is not longer possible. He couldn't have failed the quiz. He's one of the best students. Yeah, we have the negative form in the could. That is a kind of auxiliary verb in this tense. Okay, and we have must have, but we're not checking it in this course. So we have third conditional y quiero explicarlo en español porque a veces tiende a ser un poco confuso. ¿Listo? Entonces, ya hemos visto zero conditional first and second. Vamos a ver el tercero que es el último condicional. ¿Listo? ¿Qué condicional? Pues porque necesita que algo pase antes para que esta situación se pueda dar. Por ejemplo, em, si yo comprara la lotería, me la podría ganar, ¿sí? Me la pudiera haber ganado. Si yo hubiera comprado la lotería, me la hubiera podido ganar. Digamos que tenías el número en mente, no lo hiciste, ¿sí? Ya pasó, la rifa ya se hizo. Entonces, ¿qué hubiera podido pasar? Ese es como tal el tercer condicional. Entonces tenemos if en este caso, que es la condición, ¿cierto? Traduce al inglés, al español como sí, pero ese sí no es de la afirmación con tilde, no. Es if, como la forma en la que expresamos una condición. Si llueve, si pasa esto, entonces ese sí no lleva tilde en español. Listo. ¿Para qué se utiliza? Para situaciones hipotéticas en el pasado. Es decir, ya aconteció algo y qué hubiera pasado, ¿sí? Una situación hipotética. Los siguientes ejemplos. If he had made a reservation before in a hotel, he would have found a cheaper place to stay in. Entonces, si él hubiera hecho una reservación antes en un hotel, él hubiera podido encontrar o hubiera encontrado, ¿sí? Un lugar más económico para quedarse, ¿sí? Ya él no lo hizo, no lo hizo, entonces ahora está pagando algo más costoso, pero él hubiera podido haber hecho la reservación antes. Esto es una situación hipotética en el pasado, no lo hizo, entonces el resultado fue diferente. Pero este third conditional es para pensar que hubiera podido pasar. If they had gotten up early, they wouldn't have missed the bus. Entonces, acuérdense que la condición tiene dos partes. Le llamamos clauses. Una que es if clause, like condition clause or conditional clause, y result clause. Tenemos resultado, condición. Pueden intercambiarse sin problema. Yo puedo decir, si yo hubiera, no sé, dormido más, Me hubiera despertado más tarde, ¿sí? Em, o yo puedo decir, me hubiera despertado más tarde si yo hubiera dormido más. Entonces miren que aquí hay una coma en la mitad de la oración, ¿sí? Y aquí está. Pero yo puedo hacerlo al revés. They wouldn't have missed the bus if they had gotten up early. Si yo escribo primero el resultado en la condición, en la oración, no voy a necesitar la coma. ¿Listo? Entonces, vamos a ver. Por acá tenemos condición, resultado. ¿Sí? Para podérmelo aprender, ¿yo qué hice? Yo me aprendí que la condición lleva if, o sea, la condición que es if, va con el pasado perfecto. Y el resultado es would con pasado perfecto, con presente perfecto, ¿sí? O pasado perfecto. ¿Listo? Pasado, presente perfecto. ¿Listo? If con pasado perfecto, would con presente perfecto. Son los tiempos que se utilizan aquí en los dos. Listo. Vamos a continuar. Aquí está la otra forma que les decía. Tenemos la oración sin coma, ¿cierto? Porque está el resultado primero. I wouldn't have gotten sick if I hadn't gone to the park that night. Listo, siguiente tema. Will versus be going to. So we have these two ways to talk about future intentions, yeah, future uh, sentences, but will is like the grammar structure for the future, yeah. Going to is a grammar structure in the past, but referring to a future. ¿Ya? Lo mismo pasa en español. Tenemos haré, ¿sí? Haré 100 pizzas. ¿M? Y la diferencia es que voy a hacer 100 pizzas. La intención de este voy a hacer es futuro, pero está completamente en presente. Y haré está completamente en futuro. Now, let's see. We have will to talk about predictions and possibilities. This means that you are like kind of guessing about something in the future. And in here, with be going to, we are using to talk about activities that are previous planned, like prior planned. You have at least thought about this activity. For example, I am going to buy a car. You know when? Probably the next year. Yeah, probably you know which car. Probably you know how much you are going to spend on that. Yeah, but it's a kind of planned, a plan. So let's look about will, the structure. We have the affirmative, negative questions with information and simple. For the affirmative, we have in here the subject plus will plus the verb in the base form and the complement. Yeah, he will go to the party tonight. This will is making the conjugation for future, so you don't need to conjugate the verb even if you are using a third person. So as long as you have this auxiliary, you are not needing the conjugated form for any subject. Aquí, he will go to the party. Ah, bueno, él irá a la fiesta esta noche. Este I think es como para complementar. Yo creo que él. Then we have the negative form that is will not or won't. Lo encontramos así, both won't and will not. They will not come to class tomorrow. Ellos no entran a clase mañana. So we are marking the negation directly to the will, that is the auxiliary. Now, to make a question, what you are going to do is to move the auxiliary to the beginning. In this case, will. So you have it in here, you move it to the beginning. You have it in here, you move it to the beginning. Of course, once again, you can have negative questions and affirmative questions. The most regular are the affirmative. Will they come to class tomorrow? This is the affirmative, then the question, and we have short answer positive, short answer negative. Yes, comma, they will, or no, comma, they won't. With WH word, what will he do tonight? So you have the same structure like this, but adding the question form at the beginning. Now, with be going to, what you are going to conjugate only in this occasion is the be, the be verb that in this case is acting like an auxiliary verb. I am, she is, they are, yes, we are, and things like that. I am going to buy the new phone. So you have the verb be conjugated, the structure going to, plus the main verb using the base form. El verbo to be conjugado, going to intacto y el verbo principal de la oración en forma básica. My mom isn't going to work tomorrow. So in here we have the negative form. Yeah, we apply the negative form to the auxiliary verb that in this case is the verb to be. We have, are they going to travel by plane tomorrow to Medellin? So we are moving the verb to be at the beginning to make the question. And if we have a WH word, we add it even to the beginning. Okay, with future continuous. So we have be going to and will for future. But we also have future continuous. Future continuous means that something is going to take place in a specific moment during a moment in the future. Yeah. For example, you know that I don't know, for example, for tomorrow there will be a football match. Yeah. Or a match game that we are going to have during a certain period of time, but it's going to be developing in a certain moment in that future that is tomorrow. Let's see the example. Colombia will be playing the Copa America against Chile next Friday at 6 p.m. So this will be, this means future, okay? And as long as it is continuous, ing. But let's see the structure. We have the pronoun, that in this case is I, in this case my, that is he, yeah, in this case is you, plus the will be form, complete will be, and the main verb is conjugated using the ing form. So will be in this case is an auxiliary. You are not going to conjugate it any, like always will be the same. Will be, will not be, will you be, yeah, will and be. You're going to have it like it is in here. Plus the main verb using the ing form and the complement. It is more clear for you to make yourself understand if you write a complement of a context of time. Yeah, by the time I retire in this opportunity, I will be traveling all over the world by the time I retire. Yeah, my dad will not be working tomorrow. He is traveling tonight. So once again, we have will, that is an auxiliary for future. We are applying the negation directly to that auxiliary. And we have in here, will you be working? So we move the auxiliary to the beginning to make the question. Will you be working your dream job once you finish your career? And if we have a WH word, we add it at the beginning. So this is because something is going to take progress during a certain period of time in the future. Bueno, vamos a pasar a futuro perfecto, que es como el último tiempo de futuro. Significa que habrá algunas acciones que se estarán terminando en cierto momento del futuro, ¿cierto? Esta oración traduce, los humanos habrán conquistado Marte para el 2050. Habrán conquistado. So we need the future form of have, that is will have, and the past participle of this main verb. Dirán, ¿por qué pasado si es futuro? Bueno, el futuro lo está marcando el will have y ese tiempo como compuesto lo estamos marcando con la conjugación del verbo para estos tiempos compuestos, que es el pasado participio. Entonces, tranquilos, no es que, qué pasado, qué presente, no. La conjugación tiene el ado, edo, ido, ¿sí? Eso lo mismo pasa en español. Entonces, tratemos de hacer la abstracción a nuestro español. The structure, then we have the subject in here, subject, 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 and will have. ¿Listo? Inamovible, will have. El otro verbo es el que lleva su conjugación. Aquí no es si es tercera persona se conjuga esto, no. Will have, lo mismo que en el anterior. Will be. En este caso es will have. Y complemento. Para la negación le aplicamos la negación a will. ¿Sí ven? El resto se mantiene. Y will you have graduated by 2000? Bueno, movemos el auxiliar al principio para formar la pregunta. Digamos que aquí no sea 2020, sino, no sé, next year. Queda mucho mejor. Y aquí si tenemos una pregunta de información, la agregamos al principio. Eso era presente perfecto. And we close this session with the presentation of appliances vocabularies. Those are like devices that help us to develop some home activities, like for example, washing the dishes, cooking, yeah, keeping the food or things like that. So we have fridge that we all know it, that is this long device. Vacuum cleaner, that is this one that will help us to clean the wraps and things like that. Toaster, that we don't have an image in here, but it's used to toast the bread, for example, to make it like crunchy. And we have TV, that you all know it, we all know it. Tumble dryer, that is this one that help us to dry our clothing when we are washing it. We have dishwasher, that we don't have a big image in here, but help us to clean the dishes when we eat at home, and we have the dishes, so we clean it using steam. And we have a stereo, that is the radio, of course, where you listen to music or something like that, where you used to listen to music. And the washing machine, that is the one that we use to clean the clothes. Yeah. Okay, about the tasks, remember, as I told you, you have to check them on Canvas directly, so um, you can know the dates, the important dates, and I already explained you at the beginning how to work with them. So guys, that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining this session. I hope it has been helpful for you, and I wish you enjoy your day. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me using the Canvas email or the WhatsApp group. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining, and goodbye. In here.